It's been 40 days since Uganda went to the polls for the general presidential election, and once again, Yoweri Museveni has been declared a winner. But the critics argued that this was not a democratic victory. Instead, they described it as a consolidation of power under heavy military presence. The opposition claims the election was conducted under intimidation restrictions and what they call rule by gunpoint. According to them, this was not just a disputed election, it was a continuation of a long-standing political pattern in Uganda. But what
Leero ennaku z'omwezi ziri 24 mu mwezi ogwokubiri omwaka
exactly is happening? The military presence, symbol of security and or control, one of the strongest images coming out of Uganda in the past 40 days is that one of the army soldiers reportedly surrounding the home of opposition figures. Supporters say this is harassment. Government defenders say it's necessary for national security. Uganda has long had a deeply militarized political environment since taking power in 1986. Museveni has maintained strong control over both political and military institutions. The military, the UPDF, is not just a defense force, it plays a central role in state stability. It plays a central role in state stability. The question now being asked is the military protecting the state or protecting political power? Well, the role of Muhoozi, what do you have to know about it? The details is here. The rising power or dangerous rhetoric. Well, another explosive issue is that the involvement of Museveni's son, Muhoozi, has increasingly positioned himself as a major political force. His public statements, especially on social media, have often been controversial and at times openly confrontational towards critics of his father's government. For opposition supporters, this represents something bigger. They see it as a preparation for dynastic succession. For government supporters, however, Muhoozi is simply a patriotic general defending the country against destabilization. The real concern is perception. When the son of sitting president issues threats towards political opposition, it fuels fear that Uganda is shifting from long-term incumbency to family-based political control. Well, Lubaga Cathedral. Remember what happened in the Lugaba Cathedral incident during the last 40 days? Yes, it is a line crossed. One of the most emotional church claims in the prayers were blocked at Labaga Central or Labaga Cathedral. In a deeply religious country like Uganda, places of worship are sacred spaces. Interfering with prayer services, whether justified by security concerns or not, carries a symbolic weight. Its true move risks alienating even a natural or neutral citizens. Religion in Uganda cut across political lines, blocking access to prayer can easily be interrupted or interpreted as an attack on faith rather than politics. This is where political conflict becomes societal tension. The narrative war, legitimacy or stability. There are now two competing narratives. Narrative A: Museveni's son legitimately Uganda needs stability. The opposition is exaggerating and they attempting to create chaos. The narrative B is very simple. The election was manipulated, military intimidation undermined the people's will. Uganda is slowly drifting away from democratic principles. The truth may lie somewhere in between, but perception often matters more than facts in politics. International observers have in previously election raised concerns about media restriction, opposition arrest, and the heavy security presence. However, Museveni's government consistently argued that Uganda remains peaceful and economically stable compared to its turbulent past. Why this moment is different? What makes this moment different is the fatigue. Museveni has been in power for 4 decades. That is 40 years now, and is still in power. That's longer than most African leaders in the modern democratic era. A whole generation of Ugandans have never known another president. Young voters are increasingly vocal. Social media has changed how political messages spread. The opposition no longer relies solely on rallies. They rely on digital resistance. But the government also adapts. It has tightened regulation, increased security measures, and maintained strong institutional control. This creates a political stalemate, high public frustration, and entrenched state power. What happens next? There are three likely scenarios: containment. The state maintains control, tension gradually cool, Museveni consolidates authority once again. The escalation: more protests, more arrest, intentional pressure increases, transition pressure builds, internal political dynamics, polit- possibly even within the ruling establishment, begin shaping a long-term succession plan. The wild card in all this remains the military loyalty and public sentiment. The emotional fall or the emotional core, which is the faith and resistance. The final of the message focuses on faith and resistance. That is not a critical in political struggles. More framing matters when leaders call for resilience and faith instead of violence. It shifts the movement image from rebellion to resistance. And the resistance narrative are powerful, especially when framed around freedom. So that is what happened in the last 40 days of the new government, or as a newly voted era in January 15 to now. After 40 days, this has been what exactly going on. Remember, Bobby One is still in the hidden. He's nowhere to be found right now, but he mostly comes out and do a bit of videos to also show what is going on, share his idea. He joined the Geneva Summit 2026. He joined the European Union as well to contribute to what exactly is going on in Uganda as well. So here we end it on a streetwise politics, the deep dive. Bye bye.